Good morning and welcome to the Daily Download. I'm your host, Brad Nelson, and today is Friday, May 2nd, 2025. Here's what you need to know today. A new story out of Denmark is pouring cold water on the idea that generative AI is already revolutionizing the labor market. Researchers from the University of Chicago and the University of Copenhagen analyzed data from over 25,000 workers across 7,000 workplaces, focusing on roles often considered vulnerable to automation, like accountants, software developers, and customer support specialists. Their findings: despite rapid adoption of tools like ChatGPT, generative AI has had virtually no measurable impact on wages or working hours in 2023 and 2024. Most workers in affected jobs now use chatbots regularly, but their average time savings clocked in just 2.8% of work hours, or about an hour a week. Interestingly, AI even created new tasks for 8.4% of workers, like reviewing chatbot outputs or checking student homework for AI use. So instead of replacing jobs, AI might just be shifting them around, at least for now. The researchers suggest that while adoption is fast, organizations are still figuring out how to use AI effectively. And while the Danish snapshot challenges some of the hype, it's not the last word. Broader or longer-term effects may still be on the horizon. Microsoft has fixed a bug in Exchange Online that mistakenly flagged legitimate Gmail emails as spam, sending them straight to the user's junk folders. The issue, tracked as incident EX1064599, started on April 25th and was caused by a faulty machine learning model designed to detect risky email messages. According to Microsoft, the ML system incorrectly flagged Gmail messages because they resembled spam emails in structure, triggering false positives. While users and admins could manually whitelist Gmail during the outage, Microsoft has since rolled back the problematic model and confirmed that normal service has resumed. This isn't an isolated incident. Microsoft has dealt with several similar ML-related spam issues this year, including problems involving Adobe emails and messages with embedded images. Microsoft says it's now reviewing its machine learning detection process to reduce false positives in the future and avoid similar disruptions. Another thing Microsoft is doing is officially moving to a passwordless future. The company announced that all new Microsoft accounts will now be passwordless by default in an effort to better protect users from phishing, brute force, and credential stuffing attacks. Starting immediately, when users create a new Microsoft account, they'll be prompted to sign in using secure, passwordless methods such as passkeys, fingerprints, or facial recognition. No passwords required. Existing users can also go into their account settings and remove their passwords if they choose. Microsoft has already been rolling out new user experiences across web and mobile apps since March, aimed at making passwordless login the standard. So far, these updates have reduced password use by over 20%, and that number is expected to keep dropping as more users adopt passkeys. Microsoft is a board member of the FIDO Alliance, a group promoting passkeys as the future of secure authentication, and this move pushes them further toward their goal of eliminating passwords altogether. At this year's RSA conference, the SANS Institute unveiled the 5 most dangerous new attack techniques, and they painted a serious picture of how cyber threats are evolving, especially with the rise of AI and the continued misuse of basic IT practices. Hackers are now weaponizing single sign-on and access tokens, pivoting across cloud and on-premises systems using nothing more than a web browser. This technique, called authorization sprawl, allows them to move laterally within an environment and harvest sensitive data using permissions already granted to the user. Defense requires tighter privilege mapping and better browser level visibility. Critical infrastructure is still vulnerable. Legacy systems in industrial environments like meat processing or energy can't handle the downtime that ransomware causes. Ransomware has surged across this sector, and state-sponsored attackers are increasingly targeting these systems not just to disable them, but to misuse them with devastating effects. One of the most avoidable security failures continues to be poor logging. Organizations still aren't capturing the right data to detect attacks, especially with AI helping threat actors mimic normal user behavior. As Heather Barnhart warned, if you're not logging normal activity, your AI can't tell when something goes wrong. AI has dramatically increased attack speed and sophistication. From hyper-personalized phishing emails to scanning inboxes and archives, attackers now have 93% success rate on phishing attempts. AI has enabled criminals to move faster than ever, and enterprise security policies are struggling to keep up. Sometimes the tools built to protect you can be turned against you, especially in ICS environments. Many systems have security features disabled by default, and if left off, attackers can exploit or enable them to lock out operators. Just because a feature is off doesn't mean it's harmless. These threats are accelerating, and they're made worse by human error, outdated practices, and the expanding role of AI in both offense and defense. SANS experts urge enterprises to be proactive, audit access controls, enable logs, update OT environments, and rethink how to securely integrate AI. Real ID is here, but is it already outdated? Starting May 7th, Americans will no longer be able to use older, non-compliant driver's licenses to board domestic flights or enter federal facilities. This marks the long-awaited enforcement of the Real ID Act passed after 9/11 to standardize and secure identification nationwide. Real IDs include a standardized layout and security features such as barcodes and holograms across all 50 states. The goal is to unify the chaotic patchwork of U.S. identification formats, making forgeries harder and improving identity verification. States also perform facial recognition during issuance to combat identity fraud. Despite enhanced features, Real IDs lack critical modern protections like cryptographically signed RFID chips found in passports, which means they're still susceptible to counterfeiting. Experts say the future lies in MDLs. Already available in 15-plus states, these digital IDs are stored on your smartphone, cryptographically secure, and harder to fake or misuse. They also let you control which personal information is shared, a big leap in privacy and security. Real ID is finally rolling out nationwide, but some experts argue we should skip ahead to MDLs, a more secure, flexible, and future-ready way to prove identity. TikTok has been fined €530 million by the Irish Data Protection Commission for violating EU GDPR laws by transferring European users' data to servers in China without adequate safeguards. The ruling cites concerns over Chinese anti-terrorism and counter-espionage laws, which could allow government access to personal data. TikTok was fined €485 million for the transfers and €45 million for failing to properly disclose them in its privacy policy. Despite updating its policy in 2022 and pledging €12 billion for EU-based data centers, TikTok admitted during the investigation that some European data had been stored in China, triggering potential for further regulatory action. This is the third largest GDPR fine to date, following penalties against Meta and Amazon, and marks TikTok's second major GDPR fine, following a $367 million penalty in 2023 related to children's data. The decision also lands as TikTok's U.S. operations face a possible ban unless its Chinese parent company ByteDance sells its U.S. arm amid ongoing geopolitical problems. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA, is supposed to stop attackers in their tracks, even if they've stolen your password, but a growing underground market is helping cybercriminals sidestep MFA protections with alarming ease. Cisco's Talos recently revealed an entire phishing-as-a-service industry built around defeating common MFA methods like one-time codes and push notifications. Toolkits with names like Evil Proxy, Rockstar 2FA, and Mamba let even non-technical attackers set up proxy-based phishing sites that look just like the real thing. Here's how it works. The attacker sends a fake login link, say to what looks like a Google sign-in page, but it's actually routed through a malicious server. The victim enters their username and password and their MFA code or push confirmation, unknowingly sending everything to the attacker in real time. Just like that, the attacker is in, even though MFA was enabled. The problem is traditional MFA codes are phishable. They're just digits or clicks that can be captured like passwords. These attacks have already been used to compromise companies like Twilio and target thousands of users. The good news? MFA based on WebAuthn, like passkeys or security keys, is virtually immune. That's because WebAuthn credentials are cryptographically locked to both the device and the real website's domain. If you're trying to use your passkey on a fake site, it simply won't work. The bottom line, if you're still relying on MFA codes or push notifications, it's time to upgrade to passkeys or hardware-based authentication. As phishing kits get smarter, our defenses need to do the same. And that brings us to today's tech tip. Upgrade your MFA, stop using codes, and start using passkeys. Traditional multi-factor authentication using SMS codes or app-generated passcodes can still be phished. Criminals now use adversary-in-the-middle toolkits that intercept your codes and hijack your login sessions, making these older MFA methods increasingly vulnerable. What you can do is switch to WebAuthn-based MFA, also known as passkeys. These use cryptographic authentication tied to your device and the exact website domain, making them virtually impossible to phish. Passkeys work with biometrics like Face ID or fingerprints and hardware keys like YubiKey. They're already supported by thousands of sites, and you can usually enable them in your account security settings. There's also a big bonus to using this technology. It's easier to use, more secure, and much faster than entering codes. Protect yourself and your business. Make the switch today. Thank you for listening to the Daily Download. This episode is brought to you by FRCS Tech, your partner in business technology solutions. If you'd like to learn more, visit us at frcstech.com, and I'll see you on Monday.